Hey everybody, welcome to week 3. This is your week 3 overview video. And again, these overview videos are just going to clarify things you need to do, talk you through assignments and just, the stuff that you have to do for the week. So this Thursday is June 19th, is Juneteenth, so that the college is closed that day. Since it's a Thursday, it doesn't really change our schedule that much. Just so you know, the college is closed that day and you're not obligated, to do anything for this class that day since it is a holiday. But this week, so by Tuesday, make sure you responded to other students' week 2 reading and writing discussion board posts, so just check back and read those. Your responses don't have to be super duper long. You can just be like, hey, I like that thought. The idea is that you kind of like read what other people are writing and you kind of get to know each other a little bit. I've also made you a new discussion board that's for open discussion. So if you want to talk to each other about course readings, writing tips, just your lives, hobbies, that kind of thing, that's what this is for. Like if you're looking to connect with your classmates or share ideas, chat, like I know we're online, so we can't really it's hard to build a good classroom community. So that's something that we can do. I might, if I can think of cool stuff to get you started, I might make some forums later, but just know that that is there. You can create a forum, you can join other people. So I've put it at the top here so that you can check it out. So yeah, just whatever you want to write, just as long as it's not mean or bad or anything like that. Okay. All right, so back to week 3. So get on new discussion boards. You're watching the week 3 overview video now, so gold star. There's also this reading poetry video that will be helpful, so definitely read that first. You also need to check out the poetry analysis essay instructions, which I will do now for you. So you're going to have your poetry essay is going to be due next week. Essentially how the structure of this class is going to go is like we're going to read for a week and then we're going to write for a week. So this is our reading week. So you'll have some poems to read. But I want you to go ahead and read the essay instructions this week so that you kind of know what we're looking at when we're talking about these poems. So here are the essay instructions. These are exhaustive, so there's lots of instructions here, especially for an online class. I just want to make sure that you have like lots of materials. I try not to overwhelm you, but I want to make sure everything's really clear since we're not together. So your big goal for this essay is to explore how a poem creates meaning. It's not just what is a poem about, it's about thinking analytically. It's about critical thinking. So up at the top here we have some analytical questions that you can read through as an example of kind of what mindset to take when you're reading poetry. Your essay should be about 600 to 900 words. I know that's super open-ended, but write something good that explains how the poem works. So how the poet uses language and structure to explore a theme. Refer to that abstract and concrete video from last week. We're going to talk about that a lot, and I talk about it some in the reading poetry video. So you're really looking at how abstract and concrete work together in a poem. So about 600, 900 words, somewhere in there. Format your essay in MLA. So this one you don't need to have a works cited page for because we're all looking at the same poems. And you're not incorporating outside research. So really you want to just look at your MLA first page here. And just as a quick aside, if you go here to content, I'm going back to content, and you go down, there's all this stuff. So we have the weekly modules, and then we have the general modules. So if you look at MLA formatting, I do have how to set up MLA in Google Docs and in Word videos here. But if you have any questions about that, you can let me know, or you can look up a how-to video. MLA doesn't change a lot over the years, so yeah. And if people have questions, I may add some resources here as well. So it does need to be an MLA 600, 900 words or so. So I've got some, so for those of you who like step-by-step things, I like step-by-step things, especially when it comes to writing, because sometimes I don't know where to start. Most of the times I don't know where to start. So steps for writing be to prep well. So review the literary toolbox documents, just open that and look at, make sure you're familiar with it. Watch that video again if you want to, and annotate the poems as you read. So in the reading poetry video, which should probably be the next thing you do, hopefully, I give you step by step for how to read a poem. So watch that video and try that. Essentially, you're going to read a poem 3 times. So read that, or watch that video and make sure you're reading your poem a few times and annotating if possible. After you're done reading, you will choose one poem from this unit. So it needs to be a poem that is in the document, like the poems that are in this unit, not a poem that is just something random that you picked. If you have one that you just desperately want to write about, talk to me first, because it just helps keep things all above board. So preference would be that you pick a poem that is in this unit. So unless you talk to me, you need to write about a poem that is in the poems document from this unit. Okay, so pick a poem from this unit. Just one. You don't have to do 2 or compare and contrast or anything. Just pick one poem. Pick the one you liked the best, or pick one that you think you could write a lot about. Just because a poem is longer doesn't necessarily mean that there's more to write about. Pick one that had the most meaning for you. You will also, next week, I guess, next week, you will do a worksheet about that poem. So you're going to pick one poem so you're going to read all the poems on the document, and you're going to pick one poem to really zoom in on, do the worksheet about, and write your essay about. After you pick your poem, choose a major theme. So this is an abstract word. It could be love, it could be repentance, it could be shame, whatever. Pick a big theme in that poem that you'll explore in your essay, and then identify some literary elements that create that theme. So what kind of imagery goes into creating this idea of goodness in Mary Oliver's poem Wild Geese, that kind of thing. So you're going to pick one poem, pick a major theme, and then look at the literary elements that bring that abstract idea, that theme, to life in like concrete ways. Okay. Gather evidence afterwards of how that theme comes to life through literary stuff. Gather evidence from the poem. Your essay should absolutely include quotes from the poem. Short ones are better, so like you want to make your quotes as short as possible, but you should use them liberally. So you can gather, a good next step after you choose your topic is to gather evidence of that happening in the poem. And then you can organize your evidence, and that may help you like create paragraphs or decide like the overall flow of your essay. Build your analysis, so analyze how the poetic elements work together. You can develop a working thesis based on, that cut off weird. Develop a working thesis. So your thesis statement, again, is just a big idea. So what do you have to say about it? And there's more about thesis later on. I'm sorry that cut off, and going to update that. And then build your analysis around your quotes. So you should be analysis. We're thinking about how and why. So how this poet is exploring the idea of loss through these specific descriptions or through these specific imagery. So analysis is how and why, and analysis should be based on quotes from the text, evidence from the text, not just stuff you think or stuff you make up. It should be really, really based on the text, like what's there. Again, watch that reading poetry video. Here is some structure stuff about the essay. So writing is thinking, thinking is messy. Do not anticipate that you can write this essay well or efficiently or quickly from top to bottom. So this essay structure is how it should look like as the finished product, but believe me, it does not have to look like this at first. So don't try to write it from top to bottom. Get as many ideas down as you can. Use that, even if you don't want to start a regular free writing practice, use that free writing mindset of like, I'm just going to get some ideas down and I'm not going to be super edity and judgy and about it. Like, get some ideas down, find a way to be generative in your thought so that then you can go back and be critical. So if there's anything that I can tell you about the writing process, it's try to separate creation and generation, and that as a separate step from editing. So it's really hard to create and edit back and forth really quickly. So give yourself some time to generate ideas, then give yourself some time to edit and organize those ideas. You can bounce back between those two different steps as much as you need, but if you're trying to do them both at the same time, or if you're bouncing back and forth too quickly, like write a sentence, edit the sentence, write a sentence, edit the sentence, all you're going to get is very, very constipated about this. So get some ideas down on the page. Trust yourself that you can go back and organize it later. Really try to come up with a cool idea, like make some good connections, notice something cool. Get as many ideas down as you can on a page, on a draft, brainstorm, and then once you've got some content to work with, go back and organize it. So don't try to organize your ideas before you write them, because that doesn't work as well. You should write your ideas down and then go back and organize them. They don't need to come out organized, all right? All that to say, but when you turn your essay in, this is the outline that you should have that it should follow. So get your ideas out and then organize them according to this outline. The rubric that I grade with reflects this outline quite closely. Okay, so I will be looking for these components to be present. And the reason that we follow this outline is just because it makes it clear to understand. So essay format is what it is because it's kind of designed to have as much clarity as possible. So when you are generating ideas and trying to figure out what you're saying and thinking about the poem and whatever, like it's okay for that to be really messy, and it's okay for that to be kind of all over the place and not make a lot of sense to anybody but you. But by the time you are done editing and really getting your essay together, the point is to communicate something. The point is to be clear. So this essay structure this outline will help you communicate your ideas as clearly as possible. Okay, that's the idea. So your introduction should have a hook. It should include the title and the poet's name. Please do read through all this. Brief summary of the poem, and then your thesis statement should be in the introduction. So I'll be looking for those parts. Body paragraphs, all body paragraphs need to have topic sentences. And then quotes and analysis and connect back to the theme and your conclusion. So use this as a general way to help you organize your ideas after you have them, so that you know kind of how to set it up. So characteristics of a good poetry analysis: you're going to focus on a theme or a meaning. It's not just summary, you're talking analytically. You look at how those poetic elements create meaning. You're going to use specific evidence from the text, so short, well-chosen quotes. And you interpret things, not just observe. So say, remember, analytically, we're thinking how and why, not just what's there. Your essay should be organized by ideas, not just the order of the poem. So don't just say at the beginning of the poem it does this, the middle of the poem it does this. So that can be an okay structure, but just know that you may want to analyze it instead, or you may want to organize it instead by like literary element or something else. So don't, again, top to bottom doesn't necessarily work great for the finished product here. You need to have a clear thesis statement. I'm assuming that you know what that is from Comp 1. If you aren't sure, you need help, just reach out. I'm happy to help you. And this should be in your own voice. It's not just a list of terms. It should not sound like AI. It should sound like you. You don't need to summarize a whole bunch. You need to focus on making thoughtful connections. And I will post as well some essay examples of students who've done this really well in the past so that you can read those. Okay. And I've given you a revision checklist down here. So before you turn in your essay, so first step, right, is get a bunch of ideas together. Then you go back and organize them. And then you might find that you need to get some other ideas, and then you can organize them again. But before you turn your essay in, use this revision checklist, go through and make sure that your essay kind of ticks all these boxes, and look at the rubric that's attached to the essay assignment, and you should be good to go. So if you can say, yes, I did all this stuff, by the time you turn it in, you're probably looking at an A. So yeah, any questions that you have about these essay instructions, again, I try to give you lots of stuff to work with. Make sure you do read through all of this and then ask questions if you have them. Okay, so but you don't have to write your essay this week. That's just the way that's the direction we're going. So this week, check out those discussion boards, watch these videos, read the essay instructions well. There's also a link here about how to read a poem. It's just another resource. Again, we don't have a textbook for this class, so this is taking the place of the textbook. It's taking forever to load. Yeah, screw it. So we're not going to worry about it right now, but it's a short link about how to read poetry. And then this document here, if you click on the poems, this is all the poems that you need to read for this week. I wouldn't read them all at once. It would be a lot. I would maybe read them one at a time, do a few each day or something. But you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you get like 10 or something. So remember, you're just going to pick one of those, but you should read all of these. And before you read them, watch that reading poetry video. Read this, read that link if it works for you. Read the how to read a poem link if it works for you. It's not working for me. Right. If it doesn't work for you, just skip it. And then read the poems, okay? Because I'll give you in my video, I'll give you like a framework to look at it with. So how to read a poem link, look at the poems document. This is this is the poetry analysis worksheet. This is not due this week, but you should look over it because it will be due next week. So this week we're reading all the stuff, and next week we're writing all the stuff. So next week you will need to fill out this poetry analysis worksheet about the poem that you've decided to write about. So just look that over so that you know what's there. And then you've got another discussion board here that you need to look into. So yeah, watch a couple videos, look over some of this stuff, read the poems, and that's all you got. Let me know if you have any questions.